You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
Let's do this.
I said, hey, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. I said, hey, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. We're gonna drink a fine whiskey and smoke a really fine cigar.
All the technical business as we get rolling, but that means it's time for happy hour. It is the Man Cave Happy Hour, whiskey, cigar, spirits, the stories that go along with it. I'm Jamie Flanagan.
And I am Matt Fox.
And we are at the amazing Northville Podcast Detroit Studios.
Would you call them? At one point you called them
palatial?
Palatial.
Palatial.
That's quite the word.
That's a lot of consonants.
That is.
Vanna, can I have an A?
Oh, but it is Tasting Tuesdays with Joe Louis Bourbon, and people who might be joining us on the stream can see that I posted a subheading saying, "What do you get when you mix Joe Louis Bourbon and ZIM'S Vodka?"
Oh, trouble? Is that?
And I said, and if you look around, I have an array of trouble here for today. And Bruce from ZIM'S Vodka, welcome back to the Man Cave.
Thank you. It is always an honor to be on the podcast with Jamie and Matt talking about ZIM'S Vodka, talking about, frankly, any alcoholic beverage.
Right.
It's always fun. It's always exciting, always interesting, never dull.
Never a dull moment when Bruce is
but
in the
talking
room.
about them is not as fun as consuming them.
Well, this is true, and we're going to get there.
We are
going to get there. And also joining us, as he does just about every single week, we have Mr. Michael Shore from Joe Louis Bourbon with us as well. So, hey, how is everything down in Georgia?
I am sitting poolside here in Atlanta today. Yes.
Jerk. I mean, good for you.
And I'm in the shade. I'm in the shade because otherwise it's a scorcher. But no, it's good. It's good. And things are going well with Joe. We've added a few more markets that are coming up. So we'll talk about that. It's a little hectic.
I just saw Mr. Barrow Jr. He actually just set up his restaurant downtown. He's working with his partners here, and they
were there. He was there last week. I spoke with him on Saturday. He gave me the briefing.
Oh, really?
Good for him.
Getting the new restaurant set up and getting it rolling here, hopefully soon.
Where is it geographically?
It's right in Midtown area.
Yeah.
Right off of, I want to say off of Woodward in the Midtown area.
Awesome.
So it's right in that center area. For what I saw in the picture, it's an amazing looking space.
I bet.
It really, really
is. It's Joe Louis Southern Kitchen. And
Thank you.
The vision is that this becomes the hometown showplace location, and then they'll be opening up in cities around the country.
So exciting.
Oh,
so very
cool.
exciting.
And there'll be Joe Louis Bourbon available.
Well, one would hope.
That's the trick. They're in.
Although the tricky thing is that they're like a breakfast lunch. The bar is going to open later, I think. I don't even know the timing because originally, here's another little trivia for you. We talk about all the things that were supposed to happen.
Okay.
So the restaurant was supposed to open in February, and then Joe Louis's birthday, which is in May, on May 13th was going to be the grand opening of the restaurant. And then on May 15th was going to be the opening of the bar area, which was going to be where there was be a Joe Louis introductory tasting event. And so that never happened, among the things that never happened.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We haven't really readdressed what to do when, because I'm not sure they're 100% sure when it's going to open.
Well, that's interesting. I will share with you that I'm so glad to hear of them opening for a couple of reasons, primarily because God bless them for opening during this crazy time we're living in, right? But the other thing, Michael, is that I come from a boxing family. In fact, my father, and that's why when, Joe Louis Bourbon, I mean, ZIMS, this was meant to be, I guess, is my point, because my father was Sugar Ray Robinson's sparring partner and Yeah. I mean, and my father was the United States welterweight boxing champion. So the whole Joe Louis boxing thing, what a great tie-in.
Well, and we
That's
thought
awesome.
it'd be an interesting conversation to have. Being a spirit entrepreneur yourself, you guys are ZIMS is what 6-7 years down the road.
We're 7 years under our belt now.
Look at me, I know a little bit of ZIMS history.
Little bit. Proud of you.
He's coachable.
So you're about 7 years down the road for like spirit entrepreneurship, and again, it's that word that's going to get used out here, pivoting. So I was curious, how did you launch as independent spirit entrepreneurs? And then what are you doing to pivot now that we've entered into the crazy pandemic world?
Well, I guess for the purpose of educating our listeners, how we got into this business was simple. And I think like a lot of businesses, people say, hey, I see this. I think I can do that better.
Right.
And I'm not picking on the brand. In fact, I'm not even going to mention it, but let's put it this way. It was a very well-known vodka brand, a high-end, ultra-premium brand. And Terry Olson and I were having a vodka cocktail at his club after a round of golf.
Nice.
Sure.
And he said, this is not the world's greatest vodka. Maybe I gave away something there. We can do better. So after doing exhaustive research, I'm sure like Michael did, we said, look, let's find out about the origins of vodka. Let's find about where is the motherland of vodka. And we came up with the answers that Poland, not Russia, is the motherland of vodka.
Right.
Shocker. The other thing, as you both know, we use potatoes to make our vodka. In fact, less than 3% of all the vodka produced in the world is made with potatoes.
Right.
Potatoes.
So
now you're talking to my Irish side.
Well, there you go.
You got my Polish side. Now you got my Irish side.
Exactly. And think about Thanksgiving, right? At Thanksgiving, we all, because it's all cultures,
right?
And everybody celebrates Thanksgiving, and think about creamy potatoes, right? So we chose to make it in Poland in a 270-year-old distillery there. It takes 8 pounds of potatoes to make 1/5. And so that's how we started, how we got introduced to getting into this business. And then over time, we've evolved. And then getting back to your question about pivoting. I mean, look, it's been a crazy time, but how we achieved some success, however you may define that.
Sure.
But how we achieved success was, frankly, wearing through shoe leather like nobody's business. We went out and saw the people. We saw independent retailers. We saw independent restaurateurs, bars, nightclubs, chain restaurants, private clubs, hotel bars. And we wore out numerous pairs of shoes because with a positive attitude and a good pair of shoes, you can kind of get somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
No, so
that was in the olden days when there could actually be sales calls.
Yeah, right.
We had to launch with no sales calls, no tastings, no events. The sales staff, the sales team for the distributor, couldn't even get through on the phones to their off-premise accounts because they were so busy. They were too busy dealing with lines of people trying to.
I understand that. And I guess that's where I come in with a question for you, Michael, which is, are you, because this is important. Are you deploying your distributor salespeople and relying upon them to get your product in the hands of on and off premise venues?
Well, first of all,
they're yourself as well.
It's in between that because we are obviously relying on our distributors, but our distributors are unable to go out and do that shoe leather. So it's really how they can tie into their existing accounts. What we're doing is we've really launched. We pivoted it to create really an 80%, if not 100%, pure digital activation, which is social media, which is email marketing, which is podcasts like this, engaging with audiences and doing campaigns to generate awareness, followed by brand affinity, followed by user-generated content. We're doing our Where's Joe, Here's Joe campaign. And so, these were things that were always part of the plan, but it wasn't the only part of the plan. There was a lot of traditional that was going to go along with it. And that has not only has it we're reinventing even how we're launching in other markets, even as some of the markets open up a little bit with a little bit more ability for people to go out and call on accounts. Right. We're still pushing the digital envelope, and it worked in Michigan. We moved 500 cases in the first 60, 70 days.
Wow.
And we're in 850 at last count. I haven't gotten an update in about 2 weeks, but 850 retailers in Michigan. And that was within 90 days.
Okay.
So there's momentum, and we're I know that in Oklahoma and Mississippi, things are moving. We are just this week. Well, actually, it was last week that first bottles arrived, but in Maine and New Hampshire,
I saw the you're purchasing his bottle of Joe Louis Bourbon at his favorite spot there. That was really great.
He was a happy boy being able to buy his own product.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
Nice exactly. Yeah.
So it's been in these completely weird times. It's been a pretty fairly successful launch, where you've been able to launch. So we're excited for you guys. That's for sure.
One of the things,
and I think I have a question about back in the day when you talk about all the effort that it really does take, especially if you're an independent brand. And I think, we had a little bit of an edge because of the name recognition of Joe Louis, especially in Detroit, and all the things that we were able to tap into, which was obviously part of it. But it was also the fact that we really committed to his legacy and the boxing relationships and developing that. And that really was our biggest concern, because so much of our marketing was tied into being involved with Golden Gloves and USA Boxing, and all those events went away. So, we had to do things to, and we are still doing things, like we're doing a boxing only podcast on Thursdays.
Right.
And we're doing a lot of marketing effort talking about young boxers and, spotlighting the achievements of the up and coming young boxers, which seems like, why aren't we talking always about the bourbon? Well, it's because that's part of the whole, our whole commitment was to be
story.
Yeah. And you guys are giving back to amateur boxing and Golden Gloves. There's a dollar number for each thing from each bottle that's going back into the communities and back into boxing, which is very, very cool.
Yeah, it is.
But I did have a question before I did all that promotion. So when you first launched, how many was it? One market?
You're talking to me, Michael? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. We did launch here in Michigan. But I guess to piggyback what you're talking about, we felt it was very important to have authenticity and credibility as it related to our product. And what it sounds like to me is that you've done the same thing, because Joe Louis as a person was the real deal. Right. He was authentic. He didn't, talk about a guy who let his actions speak louder than his words. Remember? And then the whole Max Schmeling. I mean, he didn't say much. He just took care of business in the ring. But the point is, you're staying true to the authenticity of Joe Louis as a person and of his character. And that was important for us when we launched ZIM'S Vodka, because frankly, as Jamie and Matt know, ZIMS is short for Zimniak, the Polish word for potato. People love our story. They go, wow, wait a minute. You guys produce it in a 270-year-old distillery. Okay. They've forgotten, by the way, more about producing vodka in Poland than we'll ever know.
Right.
Okay. That's authentic. That's credible. And that's
and that's very much an important part of it. Look, what's going in the bottle has to be good stuff, and it has to have a story on its own. And it has to be able to stand up to the test of authenticity, whether it's in this case it's handcrafted, it's craft still, it's pot stills, it's only the hearts, it's local high limestone water, it's Southwest Virginia, it's literally the heart of the Confederacy. Isn't that ironic? Where it's produced, but that's part of the story, that's part of the comeback, and that's part of the way things have changed. And And look, these guys have had more of their share. I don't need to tell you, but I don't know. Have you had a taste, by the way?
He will.
I haven't.
Okay, good.
Actually, it's a great segue.
Good. All right, well, let's go. Because hey, did you guys FedEx me a bottle of ZIMS or what?
We didn't.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I have to be perfectly honest. It's so hot out here. I'm drinking white wine.
Well, thanks for taking one for the team, being out. It's funny you should bring that up. What a great segue, because and you said it just about a moment ago, 60 seconds ago, and that is you use the heart. You and I could get into a whole discussion about the heads, the tails, and the heart. We won't bore our hosts nor our audience with the granular details and pontificate about just grabbing the heart versus the heads and tails. But the point is, what I was going to ask you was, at the end of the day, if you can have all the marketing savvy and creativity you want, but if what's in the bottle isn't good, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And Terry Olson and Terry's the CEO and founder of ZIM'S Vodka. He and I have always said too many people are buying the outside of the bottle and not what's inside the bottle, and that's the most important component.
Look, you got to have it. You got to have it all. You got to have the product. You got to have the packaging. You got to have the story, and you got to have the authentic follow through. Right.
Something. Michael, 2 years ago, when Jamie approached me and said, "Hey, I got this crazy idea for a podcast, and we're going to call it Man Cave Happy Hour. And we're going to talk about whiskey, cigar, spirits, and the stories behind it." I said, "Absolutely, game on." What I didn't realize, what I did not expect, is the amount of information that I have able to garner and appreciate and learn over the past couple of years, and meeting folks like you guys. Whether it be vodka or bourbon or what have you, the passion behind what you guys do, that was something I was not expecting as much passion. I know passion's there, but I wasn't expecting as much, to the point where I almost want to do this myself, And you guys,
it's possible.
It is. And it really is
possible.
You would inspire me to learn more. And that's one of the great things I really enjoy about the Man Cave, is that I just continue to learn and be more inspired by folks like you guys, and the spirit industry in itself.
Well, that's very kind
it warms my heart. It really does.
All right. Well, here we go. So did you give it a sniff?
I did give it a sniff because Michael knows that's part of it. That's part of the process.
So what did you smell?
It's all in the nose. Yeah.
What are you getting out of the nose?
Well, I'm getting a true bourbon, bourbon, not just a whiskey, but a true bourbon smell.
Sure.
Because let's be candid, smell is one of the key five senses.
And,
right?
and you're gonna pick up the corn right on the nose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because it's 66% corn.
Yeah. Very corn forward. I like it. I like the corn forward.
Oh yeah, I like this.
Mm.
And then what do you think? What do you think about the finish?
Well, here's what I'm getting from it. It's lasting. It's going down, and I'm still getting it. And I'm getting a warmth, which I like. I'm not getting a burn. I'm getting a warmth. And you know what I mean, right, Michael?
I know exactly what you mean. So that is a combination of part of that is the impact of the hearts, because it's removes the heads and the tails, which is the top and the bottom, where also that can be a little bit more of an acetone or a little bit more of the burn. And so that smooths it out in a sense of making it age longer. But this is also a high barley. It's 20% barley. And so you get a little bit of that. Seems to really give you that combination of spice and a layer on the. You talked about it. It lingers, right? It lingers longer, which is what you want. You don't want it to be gone in 10 seconds.
Now, and I'm curious if I because I'm not that much of a brown liquor guy. Mm-hmm. The reason I'm in the vodka business because Terry Olson and I happen to be big vodka guys. So my question to you is this, and I should preface it by a quick statement, and that is, we always tell people when they taste ZIM'S vodka, taste it at room temperature in a blind taste test just to have some fun. Mm-hmm. I think I can say shits and giggles on this podcast.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Okay, what else you want to say?
So for shits and giggles, I always tell people, look, have some fun with this. Do a blind taste test. Have somebody be the administrator.
Yeah.
And then, especially if someone says, "Oh, I'm a big vodka guy," I love it when they say that to me. And I say, okay, so someone's going to give you ZIMS and, whatever, example A, another ultra premium vodka. And we win, and I'm telling you this is not an opinion, this is a fact, 95% of the time. And the reason we do is we tell people that the judges and mixologists, and I don't know if this is true in the bourbon industry, Michael, but the judges and mixologists in all the domestic and international competitions where we've won always taste vodka at room temperature. The reason most brands want you to chill or freeze it is they want to mask the impurities. And so I know, Michael, I'm drinking this neat.
Yes.
Yep.
And I'm getting the true taste, quality, warmth, and character of this bourbon. Am I?
You're absolutely right. Well, I mean, drinking it neat is really the way to taste it and the way to experience it. That doesn't mean that adding a little. First, the next step would be to add a few drops of water, because that really opens up the flavor profile. And then the third option is, obviously on the rocks, but I don't like to say rocks. I say on a rock, because if you use, I don't know how many times I go to a bar and I say, just put just 2 cubes, if it's regular ice, and then they fill up the glass. I'm like, no. But that really, the point of that is a little bit less of the temperature change and more of just the slower release of water. Now, that's not to say that there aren't some wonderful cocktails like a Manhattan and old fashions that they're definitely better cold, and on either up or on the rocks, but or if it's a Manhattan. But I think that's also because the cold tempers some of the sweet.
From the corn?
No. I mean, when you're talking about drinking cocktails.
I understand.
Well, you don't want to have a warm Manhattan or a warm old fashioned, because then it's going to be like syrup.
Yeah, those are meant to be chilled.
Sure.
When you shake them up in a shaker or what have you, those drinks are meant to be chilled. We had made the best New York sour with the Joe Louis Bourbon a few weeks back on the show.
I remember that.
And it was with the wine topper, and it looked so pretty. Yeah. So you can get really crafty with the craft cocktails at the same time. Yeah. And Joe Louis mixed really, really well with that type of stuff too.
And that's the thing. We wanted to talk a little bit about the entrepreneurship of it all, but then we wanted to see if we could mix bourbon and vodka. And
you can don't light any matches.
I found 3 recipes.
Really?
No way. A bourbon vodka cocktail.
Is one of them called a kamikaze?
One is called an AK-47. Yeah. And the AK-47 is just, I don't know. I have all the stuff to do it. I bought a couple of things so we would have everything to do it if we were dumb enough. All right. So an AK-47 cocktail.
Okay.
Yes. What? 1/3 ounce of brandy, a 1/3 ounce of whiskey, a 1/3 ounce of gin, a 1/3 ounce of vodka, a 1/3 ounce of rum, and a 1/3 ounce of bourbon whiskey.
So I grew up calling that a kamikaze.
Contro and lime, finished with soda water.
And the finish on that one,
which is an orange
vodka and lime juice, and then finish with soda water. It's called the AK-47. It just looks dangerous.
Did you pull that off of the Tipsy Bartender?
I may have. Where is that? The Tipsy Bartender.
Yeah.
That is where it came from. But there are 2 others that sounded pretty good. One is called the Yankee Dutch, and that's vodka, brandy, bourbon, triple sec, and orange garnish. I didn't bring an orange. Damn.
I can see that.
The other one is It's a Kentucky peach, and I think I'd like to try doing the Kentucky peach.
That sounds amazing.
That could fly.
So you got
okay, Kentucky peach. Give me the recipe.
One ripe peach, right? You have 2 parts vodka, 4 parts lemonade, 1 part simple syrup, and 1 part bourbon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you muddle a peach, and then you add in the vodka and the spirits and the lemonade, and you shake it. Serve over ice with a peach garnish.
I think I'd try it.
Yeah.
I mean, because frankly, my wife is maybe I shouldn't say guinea pig, right? But I make cocktails for her all the time at our home, and I say, you got to tell them, because I know she'll be honest with me. I'll say, is this a winner or is this a loser? It's real simple. Give me the thumbs up or thumbs down, and she'll tell me. So I appreciate that. And she'll say, wow, this is a home runner. Man, that's a dog with fleas. So,
I just learned
a dog with fleas. I like that.
Fleas. I just learned something new today.
Yeah.
How would you describe that drink?
That's a dog with fleas.
Dog with fleas.
Yeah, it's.
Thanks, Bruce.
Pete
and hey, Jeff Stesiak is having some questions about he just did on commenting on these recipes.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
They'll quickly realize that Bruce has no filter, Michael. But as I always say, and Terry Olsen cracks up, he says it all the time too now. I say, look, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet.
What does that mean?
You know what? It's as good as a dog with, what is it? Fleas? What?
Yeah, that's a dog with fleas.
A dog with fleas. I like them both.
Yeah. You can send royalty checks to Bruce Carroll.
Care of.
Yeah, care of.
That's great.
Nice.
All right, so I've thrown the peach into the shaker, and I'm going to muddle it up.
That is a spiffy looking mixologist kit you got there, sir.
It is. I got it for my birthday from a good friend, probably like 3-4 years ago.
Just not cracking it.
It was before we were. Yeah, I haven't.
Well, as a guy,
it's hard to muddle peaches.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because I was going to say I think I even have some peach puree in my car to supplement that. Now, I could always depart and go get that quickly, but you cannot. It's tough to muddle peaches. And you got to have, I'll tell you the other thing, Michael, you probably know this. It's important to have quality bar tools. Mm-hmm. What a great holiday gift for a family member or a friend.
Right.
I mean, I'm talking about with a stir, with a good muddler. I mean, it's important to have.
There's nothing better than a good muddler and different muddlers, because I probably have 10 different ones, because sometimes you need a muddler that really can macerate a fruit, and I have one that has little ridges on it. And then other times you just really want a smooth, something that's going to break the blueberries, but not, or the raspberries, but not get it all.
Jamie's having a hard time over here because he doesn't have the right muddler. It's not his fault.
No,
it's just that he needs the one with the little nubs on it, or the.
That's right.
Kind of like a meat tenderizer, so to speak.
That's exactly what you need for peaches. Because you got to get through the.
I should have started this at the beginning of the show.
Wait, I thought this was like a cooking show. Don't you have the cocktails already made that you just take out of the cabinet and you don't even make it? You say, here's the ingredients. And, here's the finish.
This is podcast.
It's a podcast.
That's what Alton Brown would do.
A podcast.
Hey, I resemble that remark, but I'm. Can I get a rim shot? Oh.
Boom.
Oh, I said it was a straight guy. Oh, that got weird.
That got a little bit weird.
Okay, let's see. I just caught up with that one. Okay.
That is so funny.
It always takes me a second.
So let me ask you this, Michael. I'm just curious. I don't remember off the top of my head, but unlike Michigan, which, as you know, is a regulated state, arguably one of the most regulated states in the union. What is Kentucky? Is Kentucky non-regulated or regulated by the state?
Kentucky, it's non-regulated it's in the same way that you're talking about. It's not a control state.
Okay.
But it has some of its own peccadillos. And we actually are going into Kentucky. It actually in the era of pandemic, they've loosened a lot of things up in terms of the ability to do shipping and delivery. Right. Because they made it easy for all the Kentucky distillers to be able to, ship to customers, even if they haven't been to the distillery.
Sure.
Right. Typically, you had to go there and buy stuff, but if people can't come, so they've loosened things up, and we're actually going in with Legacy Partners, which is the distributor. This is part of the authenticity. We're rolling out with independent distributors, smaller independent distributors in some markets when we can, not all. We're with the big guys in Michigan, Southern Glaciers, and we're with them in a few other markets. But when there is a real viable option, so we're with Legacy, and it's actually the first. I know it's the only Black-owned distributor in Kentucky, and I don't know if it's in the country, but which is that was important to us as well. And
sure.
And we're going in with some independent, some other independents in other markets, which we'll talk about. But that's kind of an important part. That was part of my education and learning what does diversity and inclusiveness really mean. And from a brand, it's not just saying things, it's doing things. And so we've kind of looked at supply chain where we could. We've looked at, we can't always do it, but we at least, the owners are very conscious. And I'm the outside advisor. I am the one who found the bourbon. I am the one who has spearheaded the narrative of the story, but I'm not the sole, and as a result, they've given me some leeway, but ultimately it's, the CEO and the two founders who really, JJ and Peter, who have the P&L authority.
Right.
But having to make the case and having to educate on why these things are important has been part of the journey for all of us.
Now, what was important to us right out of the get-go was earning prestigious awards in important international competitions. So I know Jamie and again, Matt, this is somewhat redundant to them, but regardless, our audience listening and for you, we won a platinum award at the Vodka Masters a gold at the Vodka Masters competition. And we also won a platinum award at the SIP competition. SIP is an acronym for Spirits International Prestige, and we won their highest award. So we earned some very high quality awards right out of the gate. My question to you is, have you, I don't know about the bourbon space, but are there competitions and have you entered?
Absolutely.
Share that with our audience.
Yeah. So I think what's interesting is what we did is that we entered the American Distilling Institute's judging of craft spirits competition, which we entered it because our product didn't get, we weren't in the market. We weren't really in production with the product till March in a branded way. So we actually submitted the bourbon under the distillery brand, and it won a silver as in most best authentic bourbon, craft bourbon. Not a gold, but so we're interested when this comes around again to enter again as a brand and see if the outcome is different. But in a sense, we were happy. We were thrilled because it was a no-name brand and a no-name brand, and nobody could have been swayed by anything, from a brand story standpoint. Which for a lot of the judging, let's be honest. I mean, they're supposed to be just judging the juice, but it's hard sometimes when they know what brand it is, or especially if it's a craft brand and they know kind of the backstory. it's hard to not have that influence the decision, in my opinion.
But to have that coming right out of the gate, that silver medal right out of the gate, that speaks volumes for the product itself. It really does.
It speaks to accountability. It speaks to credibility.
Right.
It speaks to authenticity. Yeah. So congrats to you.
I was going to ask you, Michael, just about a month ago, you guys released yourselves in Oklahoma, right? I'm curious to know how that's going. And you have Vegas coming up here pretty quickly, do you not?
Vegas, we don't have it. It's coming. It's returning. I don't have an actual timetable.
Okay.
But Mississippi and Oklahoma are. Oh, sorry. My assistants are.
Hey, we love the puppies here. So
no, these aren't puppies. These are actually some big dogs. I'm visiting some of them. Those are not. Those are very large dogs. The puppies are in the house. So Oklahoma is going really well. In fact, last week was a big week because a lot of attention with the boxing match. So we were able to get a lot of exposure for that. And I think we're in about saying like about 40 retail locations, and there's some limited on-prem. Mississippi is doing really well. I mean, I don't know how many locations we're in, but I know that their reordering rate, the reorder rates are strong, and that's only been about 3 weeks. So we don't have a full month picture yet. So I think in a couple of weeks we will. And I know for a fact that there were at least 6 bottles sold in Portland because I know who bought them. No, we've I think we've had some reasonably strong sales in Maine. I don't even have the list of all of the locations yet from that it's placed, but I know anecdotally from the owners who are making it their business to call around and visit, it's selling.
Now, just as you guys continue to expand and as ZIM'S Vodka continues to expand, we're just very fortunate to be a part of that with you guys. We really are. And just to know you and to talk to you guys together at the same time. How many podcasts have you heard of that can mix vodka and bourbon? I don't know of any.
I don't know of any. I never even thought
until today. I didn't think it was possible.
The brainchild over here to my left, being the mixologist, this whole Man Cave Happy Hour idea, it's so amazing to learn. And I just say, if you want to learn about the spirit industry itself, just start reading, start talking to people. And that's Bruce, you do that very well. And Michael, you do that very well as well. You have to get to know somebody and talk to them and really pull out their own story too. Because there's already an origin story behind your passion, your product. Right. What about you as the individual? What makes you passionate about your product itself?
Well, it's like I think passion is like a lifestyle, right, Michael? I mean,
this isn't about spirits only. I believe it about entrepreneurship.
Exactly.
Passion.
In fact, Terry Olson, who couldn't make it tonight, but Matt and Jamie know Terry. He's the CEO and founder of ZIM'S Vodka. He and I met playing hockey. We're hockey guys playing hockey right out of college. And he is originally from Victoria, British Columbia. He came here. Thank you very much. And we became very, very close friends. I'm godfather to his youngest daughter, who, by the way, just got engaged, which I'm very excited for her. Yeah.
We missed all the the marriage is coming, so we can ask for favors on the wedding day.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you? But we met playing hockey. We were both passionate about hockey, and we also owned another business together. So look, you just don't turn that switch on. I'm sure Michael has it in his DNA. He's got the entrepreneurial gene, as do his partners or
Peter and JJ. Yeah.
Look, you got to have that. I mean, if you wake up and go every day and go, oh, gee, I got to go do this. Because I used to own a bread company, and I used to tell people, you got to be here at 5 a.m. and don't be late.
Right? And you got to roll up your sleeves, and you got to look. I've always made it a point to know as much as I could about every facet, which is why I still to this day I do a lot of hands-on, and until it's the right time to turn it over to the next person, and that way you can manage expectations because you've been there, what it takes to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. And look, I've founded I'm a 4X startup entrepreneur. and three of my startups, well, two of my startups definitely, were things that had never been done before in other industries, but they were all marketing related, and that was all about passion. And that when it came to that was raising money, it had to be passion, because there was no history of sales or revenue. It was only an idea. And to me, that fundamentally, once you've had that experience, it allows you to understand the importance of knowing your product, believing your product, and having the passion, and making sure that it is, it's you, right? Yeah. It's you. It's not, you're not representing somebody else's product or idea. You have to own it, literally and figuratively.
Terry Olson's the same way, and I always say guys like Terry Olson, guys like you, Michael, and frankly, guys like you both. Yeah. You don't give yourself enough credit, but the guys who go through that wall first get the bloodiest. Okay, you're creating something new. You're passionate. You're inspiring. You're motivating. You're like when you started Man Cave Happy Hour. No one else has done that.
Right.
That's remarkable. You guys are, breaking through.
Well, we're making ripples. Yeah, let's go.
All right, I'm done. I'm done mixing. I think we got something.
Oh, and look at the time.
It's cocktail time. So
cheers. Or as we say in Poland,
Nostrovia.
Michael,
cheers.
Oh my gosh!
Wow, Jamie,
I could drink.
This is summer fun right here.
This is a summer cocktail.
Man, I feel like I'm poolside with Michael actually right now.
It would be good poolside, right?
A little sweet on the peach, a little tart on the lemon. And you got a little bite of the Jack. You got a little bite of the vodka.
You got that bourbon. Yeah. This is really good. That's a winner.
That's tasty. That's dangerous is what that is.
Well, it's like I always say, Terry Olson, got the what do you call it, the web address. I said, because when he and I first started this, he said, what does it taste like, Bruce? I go, it tastes like another and another
another one.
Oh, that's great.
All right,
well, I'm gonna have to go make this myself later.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll put
this is Creative Culinaries. Creative-culinary.com is where this came from. We'll put a link to it up on the socials, so people can get a hold of that. And
excellent.
That's a tasty beverage.
That is really good.
That was some fun.
Well done, Jamie.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So, Michael, thanks for hanging out.
My pleasure, Bruce. It was a pleasure to meet you.
My pleasure. Trust me, I'm very grateful to have been a part of this. I wish you nothing but continued good luck and success. And if there's any way that we at ZIM'S Vodka can help you to promote Joe Louis Bourbon, please. We're going to get connected through Jamie and Matt.
Well, now that we have that AK-47 recipe, I might have to re-envision the whole marketing plan. So
like an AK-47, it sounds dangerous.
Yeah. I believe it is. Yes. I'm not sure I'm going to get that one approved. All right.
Cheers.
Salute.
Thanks for
Thank you. Thank you, guys.